we are here with our buddy FoxInAWolfPack. Say hi.
Hello.
I'm not gonna call him his real name. Fuck it, whatever. So, Fox, what kind of deck are you going to be showing us today?
This is my Blue Eyes deck, my sub-meta Blue Eyes deck, I guess you'd call it.
I just want to say, as a PSA, real quick, fuck this deck. I cannot tell you the amount of times he has just completely obliterated me with it. Even though I'm a beginner, I still get salty as fuck because of whatever. All right, come on. Show us what your deck's like.
Okay, so first, of course, you have your 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Okay.
It's going to be your main beater of the deck, I guess you'd call it. And then you would also have your... Most meta decks would run 3. I'm only going to run 2 for certain purposes. This isn't... I guess you'd call it like a tier 2 Blue Eyes deck. He's good when you have Blue Eyes in your hand. You can just special summon him for free, and then you can pop one monster, but you can't attack with him.
Always good to have some beat sticks out in the field.
And then 2 of Dragon Spirit of White. Again, most meta decks for Blue Eyes will play 3 of him because normal summon or special summon, you're mostly going to be special summoning. You just get to banish any spell or trap card on the field. It's really good to get rid of those, especially when you're nervous about somebody else's face down. So those are really going to be your main deck boss monsters. And then 2 White Stone of Ancients. Again,
what does this do?
So at the end of the turn that this card is sent to the graveyard, either from your hand, field, deck, doesn't matter. At the end of the turn, you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster. So essentially, from your deck, I might add. So that's going to be your Dragon Spirit of White, which always counts as a Blue Eyes monster, or a Blue Eyes White Dragon, just straight to the field for nothing. Also, you can banish it from your graveyard to add a Blue Eyes monster from the graveyard back to your hand, which is really good for alternative because it can only be special summoned from your hand. So if it's in the graveyard, you could send it back to your hand and special summon it again just for nothing.
So far what I'm hearing is that you have a bunch of labeled Blue Eyes Dragons in your decks, and now these 2 cards are going to be your way to basically just special summon them without any other more expensive repercussions.
Pretty much.
So that's definitely pretty deadly.
So yeah, only 2 of those. I wish I had a third, but whatever. 1 Sage with white eyes of blue. What? Sage? Oh, Sage with eyes of blue. I was like, why? I can't read upside down. So I wish I had another one of him. I would run 2. Most meta will run 3. Pretty much you can just discard him from your hand and target an effect monster currently on the field, send that to the graveyard, and special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck. So essentially the main combo with him is to either play White Stone of Ancients or some other, tuner, Blue Eyes tuner, and you would discard and send White Stone. He would summon Blue Eyes for you, and then you'd end, and then White Stone would get you another Blue Eyes on the field. So you'd just instantly have out 2 3K beaters.
So wow, Kaiba would be shaking in his boots with all this Blue Eyes spam.
To make up for the lack of other Blue Eyes tuners that I don't have, 3 Maiden with Eyes of Blue.
Fuck this card. Fuck this card. I hate her.
She used to be meta. People don't really use her anymore.
I don't know why. Fuck her.
Because she only targets specifically Blue Eyes White Dragon. All the other tuners target any Blue Eyes monster. So she can only pull out him. She can't pull out the other Blue Eyes boss monsters, which all the other ones have utility for. But that's alright. I really don't care about that. I just need to get 8-star monsters out, but we'll get into that later. I run 1 Master just because he's situational. I can target Maiden from the graveyard, special summon Blue Eyes from the graveyard, and a Blue Eyes from the deck. That's just how I like to play it. And then 1 of him, just again, if I have 2 tuners, if I have Maiden, I can use him to special summon Maiden from my hand when he's normal summoned, target Maiden, special summon Blue Eyes from the deck, use him to summon Blue Eyes from my hand. It's just fast and easy ways to get out 2 Blue Eyes at once, either to make any monster from my extra deck, really. 2 Honest, because every card in the deck except for 1 is a light monster. Pretty much speaks for itself.
Everybody needs an Honest. Honest needs to come in at least once.
1 Thunder King Ryo. So he's kind of just my stall wall of the deck. He's very situational, but he does come in handy, especially Blue Eyes has a big problem against cards that banish and other decks that like to search the hell out of their deck, like Masked Heroes. unless you can outplay them within the turn you play. But what Ryle will do is he'll prevent you from adding any cards from your deck to your hand that you did not draw, and you can tribute him while he's on the field to negate a special summon from happening, destroy that monster. So that's also really helpful for getting rid of anything you don't want. 1 Max C, just discard it when you think your opponent's going to special summon the hell out of their field. Draw as many cards as you want for each special summon. Well, 1 for each special summon, but usually if they spam their field, you get multiples.
That would be terrible for my Burning Abyss deck.
1 Necroface, I said it before, Blue Eyes has a horrible problem with banishing cards. So if most of your deck is banished, which, if you're playing Elemental Heroes, if you play Masked Heroes and Dark Laws on the field, Blue Eyes, for the most part, runs out of the graveyard. If your cards keep getting banished, you really don't have any strength. So when Necroface is just normal summoned, you can shuffle all banished cards back into the deck, which is actually really, really helpful. So he's my only dark monster of the deck. That's going to do it for monsters. Hopping into Magic here, I have 2 Melody of Awakening Dragon. Now that's really good because I can just discard a card and add 2 3,000 attack monsters, 2,500 defense or less to my hand. So essentially I could discard a White Stone of Ancients, add 2 Blue Eyes to my hand, and then I'll end my turn and summon a 3rd Blue Eye. So I'll have 2 in my hand, 1 on the field. Or I could add 1 alternative and 1 Blue Eyes and then just summon the alternative by revealing Blue Eyes. So this card is just immeasurably useful. Just for putting anything that you need in the graveyard into the graveyard. 1 Burst Stream. It's no Raigeki, but considering the whole deck is just Blue Eyes cards, it works with any Blue Eyes White Dragon. So alternative will work, or standard Blue Eyes will work, and then you just clear your opponent's field. 2 Silver's Cry. Again, speaks for itself. It's a quick play, and you can target 1 dragon-type normal monster in your graveyard, so that's Blue Eyes, and Spirit of White Spirit works as well. He counts as a normal monster while he's in the graveyard, hand or graveyard, I believe. So you can summon him from the grave and then just pop any spell or trap card on the field you want. So its usefulness speaks for itself. 2 Return of the Dragon Lords. Again, special summoning from the grave is just really helpful. I can special summon any dragon monster with this one, so that means alternative if it's sent there, any of my synchros that have been sent there, I can just summon them back with that. Oh, well, yeah, but that's my whole deck. No, but I can banish this to protect a dragon monster, so even if they would be destroyed, I can just banish this from the graveyard after summoning them and protect them. 1 for 1. If I really need Maiden out there as a stall wall so that I know my opponent won't attack into me, I can just discard a monster, special summon her to the field. That's really good too, or really any Blue Eyes tuner. They're all 1-star tuner monsters. 1 Trade-in, just to give the deck a little bit more draw power, because it really does lack in draw power sometimes. 1 Twin Twister. Sometimes I need to pop some of my cards, pop some of my opponents, so the ability to pop 2 cards off the field, but just by discarding 1, I could discard a White Stone of Ancients, even summon a Blue Eyes at the end of the turn, and start clearing some spell and trap cards. 2 Mausoleum of Whites. Usually I only run 1, but I decided to put 2 in there just so that I could get more Blue Eyes in the graveyard, and I can also use it to target Maiden to send a Blue Eyes to the graveyard, summon a Blue Eyes, and then get out Azor Eyes. So. Also, I can banish it to add Burst Stream to my hand from my deck. 2 Hand Destruction. It's not the greatest card, but it gives the deck the draw power that it needs. It has a lot of search power, but it doesn't have a lot of draw power. So if you're limited to the cards that are in your hand and you can't draw from your deck, it's a big problem. So traps now. 1 Breakthrough Skill. I could use it once while it's on the field, once from the grave by banishing it. Negate any effect monster I want, really, so that's good too. Breakthrough Skill is a great card. Mirror Force, just cause it's nice to screw around. Just
everyone needs a Mirror Force.
Yeah, most people don't play with it anymore, but I mean, I love my Mirror Force, so. Vanity's Emptiness, I love that card. I love setting up my field and then just placing it down and making sure my opponent can't do anything after my field's already set up, because, you know, once I activate it, I'm not going to be able to do anything with it anyway. One Fiendish Chain. Essentially, it's a continuous breakthrough skill for the most part. It has its uses, but if I had another breakthrough skill, I would have put it in the deck. One Compulsory Evacuation. This card's actually limited to one. Actually, one of my favorite things to do with this is I can save it on the field as a utility to just send my opponent's cards back to their hand, or I can actually target Maiden, or I can target Maiden and send her back to my hand. Her effect would resolve, and I'd summon a Blue Eyes. And if I didn't summon her that turn, I could just summon her back to the field as a wall. Or if I use 1-for-1 to summon, say, Sage to the field, I can use that, send him back to my hand, discard him, use his effect, and summon up to 2 Blue Eyes based on what I sent to the graveyard with his effect. So this card is good for, you know, sending my cards back to my hand or my opponent's. And then Castle of Dragon Souls. So I said Twin Twister would be good for popping some of my cards too. I can use Castle of Dragon Souls to banish a Blue Eyes from my graveyard, and then I can destroy a spell and trap on my opponent's side of the field, destroy Castle, and get one of my Blue Eyes back. So that's it's not the most useful card, but it's actually really helpful in certain situations. But hopping into my extra deck, which is really the peak performance of Blue Eyes. 3 Azor Eyes. Again, I know most meta will run one of him, but just how my deck runs, it really needs 3. He's really easy to get rid of. A lot of monsters have more than 3,000 attack, so they can just easily burst him off the field, because when he's summoned, he can't be destroyed. He can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. None of my dragons can, but once he's gone, he's gone. So I like playing 3 of him. 3 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragons. Now, I absolutely love these cards. They have so many good effects. I can negate any effect that activates from the graveyard, which is a lot of decks, once per turn, and then I can prevent my opponent, so anybody who's playing Pendulum can't summon more than 2 monsters with 1 summon. So that means Soul Charge is limited to 1 summon, Pendulum is limited to 1 summon. Any spam summon decks are gonna have a really hard time getting around him. And during either player's turn, at any time that I really want, I can just tribute him off the field and summon another light synchro monster in defense mode. So if he's targeted for an attack while he's in attack position, or he's targeted to be destroyed, I can just tribute him and summon Azor Eyes and prevent effects from destroying any of my dragons. So he's just really good for getting Azor Eyes out for really nothing. 1 Blue Eyes Twin Burst. This card's really good. Can't be destroyed by battle. Any monster that isn't destroyed by battle as a result of battle with him is banished instead. He can attack up to twice on monsters, and he has 3,000 attack, which again isn't really the easiest to get over sometimes. And you don't even need Poly to make him. He's Contact Fusion, so you can just tribute 2 Blue Eyes off your side of the field. Then I'm going to hop into my XCs. So I run 1 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon. He's just in there really as fodder. I put him in there just so I can make easy work with Galaxy Eyes Full Armor, because he requires 3 8 stars, he only requires 2, or he can be overlaid over a Galaxy Eyes XYZ monster. So I'd essentially just get out 2 Blue Eyes, summon him, and then immediately overlay to give him an extra XC material. So there's that. And then play 1 Cypher Dragon. So if my opponent has a few cards that I really can't get past, I can detach a material and just take control of it for the turn, and their name becomes Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon. And especially if it's an XC monster, I can actually XC over for that on the monster that I took that turn, and they don't get their monster back. So that's actually really helpful. And then Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. So again, another 3,000 beater, 2 8-star monsters. Can detach a monster to negate all current effects on the field, and for every effect that activates after this has been activated, he gains 1,000 attack and can make a second attack during the battle phase. So that's actually really good. And then I already showed it, but I have 3 Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon. Again, just the ability to detach one and pop any monster that I really want. So it's just really good. One Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. Again, I can overlay him over any Galaxy Eyes monster that I summon from my extra deck. When he's summoned, I can send 3 dragon monsters with different names from my deck to the graveyard, which is amazing, and then my opponent has to banish 3 monsters from their deck. He also has 4,000 attack and can make up to 2 attacks during the battle phase, which is awesome. And lastly, I have Heretic Sun Dragon, Overlord of... I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but I can detach a material from him. He's overlay 2 8 stars, which is really
Heliopolis?
Heliopolis? Is that...
Hell is hopeless.
I can overlay 2 Blue Eyes or 2 8-star monsters in my deck and really make him. And he's kind of like a last resort. If my opponent's field is just full of cards I don't want to deal with, I can send monsters from my hand and my side of the field. For every card sent, I can destroy 1 card on the field. Any card. It doesn't have to be a monster or anything. It could just be... I could clear out a spell and trap card zone if I send 5 monsters if I want. So it really just eliminates all of my problems. So, and that's really going to be it. That is...
Well, it's a pretty decent deck right there, and me personally, coming into this game as a beginner, not having played it since I was just a lad, I was really happy to see that Blue Eyes was still in the rotation, but I was pretty unhappy to see how much it just absolutely fucking destroyed me. So, you guys really don't want it from this deck. This guy's, he's pretty fucking good, man. He's pretty fucking good. So thank you for watching, everybody. This has been the Teddy Set with my buddy Fox and Wolfpack. Say goodbye, Fox.
Goodbye.
Wow, you really have zero enthusiasm. Have a great day, everybody.